Good afternoon, everybody, and I would like to welcome you to today's NACTA webinar. As part of our series, we have a phenomenal supplier of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our special guest today is Caitlin Esfaz. She is the Director of Domestic Sales. Many of you are going to be familiar with her. You will have seen her face-to-face at our conference last year, which was held in Fort Lauderdale. She's very much the on-stage personality of Visit Fort Lauderdale and all about really, she wears yellow really well too, by the way. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lorene Romero. I am going to be the moderator who does the bells and whistles and all the things in the background. I am here to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I will put myself on mute, and then I will be up again when we do the Q&A section and the grand prize at the very end. So in terms of housekeeping, just want to say hello, first of all, for all of you who are on here. As a reminder, this is being recorded. We will have it up on the NACTA YouTube site within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you've not already subscribed to our NACTA YouTube account, I encourage you to do so. It will be in our post follow-up message for you to be able to sign up. That way you get a hold of all of our webinars, also some tips and tricks. Lisa Watson, who is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing, does little snippet videos, about short 5 minutes, gives you clues on how to change your password, update your NACTA account. If you have a one sheet, which I encourage everybody to do that, how to be able to get that together and be able to make changes on it. But this is also a great opportunity for you to be able to review some of our past webinars. So with all of that said, I am going to turn the reins over to Caitlin, and I am excited to introduce her because she's pretty phenomenal. I think you're going to think so too. Caitlin, take it away. I'm going to put myself on mute, but you know I'm going to be here for you in the background.
Okay. Thanks, Lorene. I appreciate the warm introduction, and I always look forward to these NACTA webinars because I feel like, hey, it's a family subject, but I feel like I'm in family with all of you. You know, I love to get out around the country throughout my travels and visit you whenever I can. And of course, with the annual conferences and things like that, I love to get out and visit all of our NACTA members. Always a special place in my heart for all of you. So with that, you know, I was thinking, what are we going to talk about that I can really teach you something new? Perhaps, you know, hopefully by now, most of you have been to our destination since we had NACTA annual conference last year here. And then hopefully you've been on your own or you've brought a group here. But I'm here today, like I said, to tell you a little bit about what else you can do. If you're coming with a family or you have that multi-generational family that's going out on a cruise and they want to spend a couple of extra days pre or post, which we of course encourage, what can they do here? Besides some of the typical things that we've talked about in the past, I'm going to highlight some hotels that have kids programs. I'm going to talk about some specific attractions that are available and things like that. So I'm going to start off with a brief overview of the destination. So just as a reminder, here's just a picture. We're talking about family travel, like I said, and as a reminder, as I'm sure you all know, here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, we welcome all families. And this picture we've talked about in the past. It was this great ad that we're very proud about that we put in the New York Times last year as an ad just saying how much we welcome every single type of family, all different kids, and we're a very open destination. So I'm going to start with a video here. And Lorene, what happened to my video? It's a new brand essence video. And this is something that may not have you may not have seen because it was just released about 2 months ago. And it kind of shows you where the direction is that we're going in for Greater Fort Lauderdale. Now, Lorene, should I turn down my volume or should I keep?
You know, that's a good question.
Yeah,
we'll give it a try. Give it a shot.
It's starting. Can anybody hear it?
I'm not hearing any sound. Do you need to put the mic near your computer speaker?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Drifting on by, you know how I feel.
because the music's very good.
Yeah, no, we can hear it now. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Today's gonna look good with the frame around it. Like a dream come true, so glad we found it. Sunshine through the window pane. Hear music when you speak my name. There's a rhythm of a life here in the moment, so let's own it. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good day with you by my side. All we gotta do is wake up, shake it up, pass it all around. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good night.
Can you hear those seagulls in the background there? All right, so that's our new video, and as we continue on with the presentation, like I said, I need to just go over a couple of basic things here, just in reminding you on how we like you all to sell Greater Fort Lauderdale, some of our key points here being the fresh, vibrant destination, really focusing on the strong value that we have in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our water culture, of course, which is pretty much everywhere with our 23 miles of beaches and our waterways and all the great activities that we have to do here with the beaches, with the water. Having a casual chic overall feeling here, you know, that's what we really go for, and that's what we kind of breathe and preach and act on every single day. Number 4, the authentic and surprisingly diverse destination, and we've touched on that a little bit, and a couple of the slides coming up, we'll talk a little bit about some of the arts that we have and things like that. And then accessibility, which I'm sure you all know that we have amazing accessibility here in the destination, with the airport being so close to the port, you know, the beach being so close to both of those destinations, and then going all the way out to the Everglades. As you can see in this map here, it's just a 30-minute ride. So in this map, just as a reminder, you know, we cover all the way down from Hollandale Beach, which is the further southernmost point, all the way up to Deerfield and out west. So we have all of these beautiful areas to cover with all kinds of great family attractions in the middle of them. So briefly, like I said here, this is what our water culture entails. And Blue Wave Beaches, just as a reminder, because we always like to talk about this in case you do not know what a Blue Wave Beach is, and it's a great trivia question, right? So, hey, you learn something new every day. Blue Wave Beach is from the Clean Beach Coalition, and they go around and they certify all of our beaches, and not just ours, of course, but nationwide, and they certify them for cleanliness, for water quality, for accessibility, and all of those really important things that are important for everybody, and especially families, because we have all kinds of different families that need great accessibility and, most importantly, cleanliness. So there you go. We have Blue Wave Beaches here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. So good to know about that. And I did do a webinar, I believe, on our scuba and snorkeling, which is really taking off here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and especially in Pompano Beach. And what is great about this is that we have all kinds of great boats where all families can go out on. You can be an expert diver and go all the way down, and on the same boat you can have maybe just the kids snorkeling, and then maybe the grandparents that don't want to get wet at all and they just want to look on the clear, the glass boat bottom. So you know, there's a lot of great variety here with that, and I just really like to bring this up every time I get in front of anybody, because so many people do not consider us for a scuba and snorkeling destination, but we do have huge variety and a lot of great places to do this. So remind yourself. Shipwreck Park, and something that I spoke about a lot. We have 17 wrecks now, so there's 17 different wrecks, artificial reefs, great place to go out and dive. So if you need more information, I'll be sending that out, regardless if you need it or not. So I just, like I said, would like to remind you about that. And then the Everglades, we always talk about the Everglades because they're amazing partners for us. And it's a great attraction. There's so many people that have never been out on these great airboat rides. And it's something that kids love to go out and see the gators and see all kinds of different other wildlife that's out there. When you go out on these airboat rides, you get to see amazing birds that you don't see in the other places. You get to see, the different grass and different ecosystems that you don't necessarily see in other areas. So we definitely highlight our two main Everglades attractions, which is Sawgrass Recreation Park here and Everglades Holiday Park, both offering very similar attraction experiences. And we, of course, can send you information on both of them. And Sawgrass Recreation Park is commissionable as well. So that's always something to keep in mind. And then another brief slide here, Hollywood Broadwalk. I hope most of you are familiar with this. It is, yes, Broadwalk. It's not a typo. This is Broadwalk because it's broader. Right? It's a large sidewalk that no cars are allowed on, but you can have segways now. They have great bicycle rentals and just lots of people for an amazingly fun experience. This is featured here. It's the outside amphitheater in front of the newly opened Margaritaville Resort, and they now are in charge of this amphitheater, and they have live music and entertainment 5 nights a week, every week, right here. And to the north of it, right there, it's just cut off on the picture, is this great pizza place called Rocco's Pizza, and my son happens to be named Rocco, so he thinks it's like the best place in the world ever. So you'll think of me whenever you see that there. And I go right in, and I'm going to feature, like I said, some of the hotels that offer kids programs, because we're talking about family travel in this webinar. So, at our Convention and Visitors Bureau, we actually represent all 500 and plus hotels in Broward County. So we're not picking and choosing which ones to highlight and to promote, but here I'm just going to specifically talk about some of the ones that offer kids clubs and are really kind of honing in on this market. So I'm going to start off with Margaritaville Beach Resort, which I just spoke about with the amphitheater, and you can see it here in the lower right corner, the back side of that picture I showed you. But also right by that amphitheater is their great flow rider. So kids love, and adults, and basically anybody, they just love to watch it or do it, is this flow rider right on Hollywood Broadwalk. So it's this great attraction there now. They have 3 different pools. They have a little slide for the kids. They have a kids club where you can actually leave your kids if you want to. Hey, have fun, go have some drinks by the pool, go take a little walk with yourself on the beach, and your kids are going to have a great time at their kids club. So here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, we did not have a lot of hotels that offered kids clubs up until recently. So we're happy that they kind of started this trend, or maybe we did a while ago and then they went away and now they're back, but we definitely have some right now, and we're happy to speak about Margaritaville Resort and what they're doing for family travel. So this is a great option. And then the Diplomat Resort. Now, this resort has been around for many, many years. It is our current biggest property, so it's 999 rooms, and it's traditionally been known for more of a group property. Vacation.com had their conference there recently. Global Travel Marketplace has their conference there. They're very well known in the industry, and it's amazing, beautiful resort. And what's changed recently is that they do have new owners. So it used to be a Westin, and now it is a Hilton by Curio. And when the new owners came in, they invested over $100 million. So it's been totally renovated, and they've added all kinds of great new restaurants. They used to have somewhat of a limited availability for restaurants, and now they've added all kinds of great new venues, and they've added a kids club as well. So that's my point here, that they've added a kids club. And they've enhanced their pool experience. So it's not just for those groups and conferences anymore. They're really focusing more on the leisure market as well and getting those family travelers in. So keep that in mind as well. You may have been thinking, well, why is this girl talking about that? It's not that type of hotel, but they're kind of transitioning a bit. So keep an open mind for that. And then the Sonesta Fort Lauderdale Beach, I talk about this property quite a bit as well. They're great partners of ours. They do not have a kids club, but they do have, they're on a really great location for families because they have Birch State Park to their immediate north, where it's this amazing park that will never be built on, of course, because it's a state park. And then to their immediate south is the Bonnet House. So they have a lot of outdoor activities in their immediate location. They have bike rentals that is included with the room rate. They have the trolley stop right in front of their hotel. So this one as well, I would consider as a great property for families to come and visit. And then moving up north a little bit onto on Fort Lauderdale Beach, you'll find the Pelican Grand Beach Resort. And this resort is pretty well known in the luxury market as well. And it's a great picture here of their pool. And they're the only property that we have right now that features a lazy river. So those lazy rivers are very popular for everybody. I can't wait myself to get onto a lazy river this weekend. I'm not sure if it's going to be at the Pelican Grand, but I'll take any lazy river. It might be because I just said it's the only hotel that offers it. So might create a little lazy river in my backyard somehow. But anyways, this is a great property because of their pool feature. They also have an old-fashioned ice cream parlor, and it's just it's a really nice kind of resort, old Florida feel. So if you have any clients looking for that, we would recommend the Pelican Grand. Now, the Ritz Carlton is obviously a four-diamond property and not necessarily one that you would think of for family travel. And I have to say, I put this slide on here just today after going there for a breakfast appointment this morning with a fam trip, and how kid-friendly they were. So I was really surprised about that. And I know that Ritz, offers a significant level of service, and so they really do attend to all their clients. But, they had a little kids desk at check-in. They have a kids park play area behind this pool where you have this picture here. They have a lot of small details that are very oriented for the children's and for the family travel. So it's something to keep in mind if you have any luxury clients. The Ritz Carlton Fort Lauderdale is definitely family friendly, and they're open for those family guests. And then we have the Hyatt Regency Pier 66. They have a wonderful outdoor space here, which is featured their pool. They have outdoor games. They have also a kids camp that leaves out of their property, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But this is, a very popular pre and post cruise stay hotel, and it's also one to come for a couple days, a weekend getaway, because it's great for the whole family. And then here we have Ocean Sky, which is a little bit further north. It's in Lauderdale by the Sea. So Lauderdale by the Sea is probably about 25 minutes from the airport. It's up north. And this is a real true 3-star property. They've got some really good rates. And if you have clients that are looking for that price market, they're right on the beach. So this is different than some of our Fort Lauderdale beach properties where they're actually across the street. This property is right on the beach. As you can see, they have their own little mini golf course right on property. So they really try to make it fun and lively for the whole family. Then we have Fort Lauderdale Marriott Pompano Beach Resort and Spa. They as well, they have their own food and beverage service right out on the pool, which most of our properties do not have, but they do offer that service there. This is a small resort, but you can really give it the name of a resort because they have all of the great amenities that a family would be looking for. And they also have those boats that I was talking about for snorkeling and for scuba diving very close, and they can come up and pick you up for a day tour right to this property. So that's something to keep in mind. And now here we're going to talk about some of the different features in the destination, tools for you to sell. Besides those great properties, we have our 2-for-1 savings, which is, this has last year's date, but we just started this year for May through actually October 12th, I believe, of 2017. So we have some great deals here. And I'm sorry, let me go back to the, you see everything here? These 2-for-1 cards, I can send these to you. These are available for everybody, really. Sunny.org/summer. You can order them online, but I can also send them to you. You know, shoot me an email, give me a call. I can send you 20 of them if you want, if you have a group coming in the summer over these dates. You know, it's a great value add that, like I said, is available to everybody, but not everybody knows about them, right? So if you give them to your clients, you look like the rock star. You're going to get buy one, get one free for some of the Everglades tours. I think Water Taxi has a specific promotion, Jungle Queen, and some of the other great attractions are listed on there. The promotions all vary, but mostly they are buy one, get one free. Then, like I said, we're going to talk about some of the different attractions. We have Funky Fish Ocean Camp. So this ocean camp that I mentioned that leaves out of Hyatt Pier 66. They actually leave out of 6 different resorts in Greater Fort Lauderdale and work out of their beach or pool areas too. And as it was listed here, ages 4 to 17. And this is meant for those kids to just have an amazing day and the parents to kind of go off and do their own thing. It's educational, it's fun, it's outside. And, you know, if you go on our website, you can find more information or go on theirs about booking and which properties they leave out of. But this is a really fun activity and kids love it. Now, we do have a couple different museums, so some culture and education here. If we have a rainy day, or we like to call it liquid sunshine here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, if we have some of that liquid sunshine coming down, or the kids are just tired of being out, or you are, being out in the sun all day, you could go to the Museum of Discovery and Science in our Riverwalk Arts and Entertainment District, and that's really just close to the downtown area. They have an IMAX theater. They have a lot of educational areas talking about Everglades. They have a giant shark in a part of it. They have some marine life there that you can see. It's a really complete science museum, and it's a great place to go. We also have the Art Museum in this Riverwalk Arts and Entertainment District in the downtown area as well. And it's a typical art museum featuring, you know, international artists, but they also have private classes available. They even, you know, cater to the pre and post cruise market. So if you wanted to set something up, you know, specific for a small group or a family, they can work with you and create an itinerary for some private art classes. Something different, you know, if you do have a budding artist in the family, you know, look into something there. And then this YAA, this is the Young at Arts Museum. And this is in Davie, Florida, so it's about, it's in between kind of the downtown Fort Lauderdale and Everglades area, right smack in the middle. And it's a children's art museum. So this is wonderful if you have some young ones that want to get out and run around and color and paint and get dirty. And it's something they haven't seen in many places, you know, to have a specific art museum that caters to young children. So I always love to recommend this. It's economical to go visit there, and the kids always have a really nice time. And then here's some more pictures just of some of our parks. You know, Broward County Parks, we have a huge division here in the county of parks. And one of them here is featured, we have a water park out west, actually kind of down where I live in the suburbs area, but it's not hard to get to. It's kind of close to the Everglades area as well, and it's open, you know, to, of course, residents, but also tourists, you know. So if you have kids, and they're very, very reasonable, and it's a great water park. We have horseback riding available, educational experiences where you could go kayaking in Knoll Park down near the Dania Beach area. So and like I said, these are all public parks run by the county. So you're going to find really creative educational activities at a very reasonable rate. I do not think most of these are commissionable because, like I said, they're already very reasonable and they're run by the county, but it's something to keep in mind. And then for some indoor activities, last year when we had NACTA, some of you went out with me and raced around the go-kart here at the Extreme Action Park, which is featured here to the left where it says arcade. So Extreme Action Park has, an indoor arcade. They have a ropes course. They have go-karting. They have bowling. And now they just recently opened roller skating. So roller skating is back and here to stay. And it's a huge indoor amusement park. And it's fabulous for groups, families, all of the above, especially for any rainy day activities. And then this is brand new, the iFly. So we have our indoor skydiving experience. And this is actually right next to that Young and Arts Museum, right off of 595 in between the downtown Fort Lauderdale area and the Everglades. So you could combine, if you're going out to the Everglades, you could stop and add perhaps one of these attractions, the iFly, for the skydiving experience. And then Flamingo Gardens, this is always one of my dear to my heart places. I love everybody that works there. They have wonderful staff, and they have these amazing trees, as you can see focused in these pictures here. It's just a truly special place to go. It's called Flamingo Gardens. They have an area with flamingos, but it's not overrun with flamingos. It is overrun with peacocks. They have all these peacocks everywhere that are beautiful and sometimes very noisy, but it's fun. And they have these beautiful, absolutely stunning trees and flowers, and it's a truly very peaceful place to go. It was peaceful until, May 27th, they're having for their first time ever their Lost World Dinosaurs exhibit. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out yet. It's brand new, and it's going to open this weekend. And this weekend, right? Yeah, this weekend. And it's going to be fun. They're really hyping it up with this dinosaur exhibit, and I think it's a great venue to do it because they have a lot of open space, and it should be fun. So something to check out if you have any customers coming our way this summer. And then, of course, we always talk about some of our sporting teams. We do have the Florida Panthers that are not playing right now, obviously, but in our BB&T Center, it's always fun to keep in mind that if you have any, hardcore sports hockey fans from up in the north, perhaps, that you want to come down, you can see it at probably half the rate, to be very honest, and you can get amazing seats and see your team play up against the Panthers. So that's something to just keep in mind. And a lot of what I've been speaking about today on this webinar is available on our new Hello Sonny TV. So this is a new initiative that we started in December. We were one of the first Convention and Visitors Bureau to create our own TV channel. This TV channel is available on Apple TVs and then on our website. So if you go to sonny.org/TV, you're going to find 3 different options right now. You're going to find live programming. So we have 24-hour of live programming. And then we have a Let's Play kind of button where you can press, and that's going to then bring in another menu of all kinds of different ways to play. So if you're interested about the beach, or you're interested about restaurants, or, we break it down into different categories, and then you can see, a snippet of videos about what you're interested in. And then the third button is international. So if you do have any international clients that don't speak English very well, not their first language, they can press those buttons and see videos in their own language. So I bring this up because it's a really great tool. It's a great planning tool. Kids love it because they can play around with it and pick and choose what they want to learn about so that they can tell you where they want to go on their next vacation to Greater Fort Lauderdale. And then just as a reminder here, as a Visitors Bureau, we have all of these great collateral tools available for you. You can order them online, or you can just, contact me, and I'd be happy to send out whatever you need or would like. We also have a 10 ways to play that's not featured on here that is great for the pre and post cruise passengers, and I've been sending those out left and right recently. Then we, of course, encourage that you take our I'm going to speed ahead, our Travel Agent Academy, which is available back here on our Travel Agent page. So if you go under sunny.org, which is our main webpage, and do /We Love Agents, you're going to find all kinds of great tools here. The Travel Agent Academy, which we, like I said, encourage you to take. Ways to play, free materials where you can order, our VIP card requests, travel industry rates if you're coming down and you want to see what's available for industry rates, you can click on there. And this Travel Agent Academy, like I said, if you take it, which we encourage, it's about a 30-minute program. You'll get, a kit in the mail, you'll get access to a private Facebook group, your own little specialist logo and things like that for your business. And geez, I feel like I just spoke very quickly through this. It was a lot of material, but I hope it was educational for you. You learned maybe something new about Greater Fort Lauderdale for family travel. And I think we're going to open it up for some questions, and then we're going to have a prize question right at the end, Lorene.
That sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. It always helps to motivate people to pay attention because, we're all busy and checking and, trying to get the education, which I think is, you did a great job, as always. I love working with you. One of the questions that one of the agents asked, and rightfully so, is there an area of the information where they can give their clients information about where to go snorkeling and what beaches are available, but also information about appropriate behavior around snorkeling, like don't stand up on the coral because it's a living organism,
Appropriate behavior, I have never had that question. It is a very valid point. And I haven't looked into that myself, like in that detail. But we, on our website, we do have a whole bunch of information on diving and snorkeling. You can just put in the search box, and you'll find information on it. And then the city of Pompano Beach, like I said, they're kind of spearheading most of the diving and snorkeling for the area. They have a great webpage as well that features more detailed information on the diving and snorkeling. And I can send you links too if you need that.
That's true. That's true. I can email you in the background to give it to me to include on the follow-up message. There you go.
Perfect. There we go.
And for the 2-for-1 cards for your clients, that's a brilliant idea because, a lot of people think, I just go surfing on the internet. I get the best price and I can spend my time. It's like, whatever. But for you to be able to support us and making us look absolutely phenomenal, I think that's a great idea. Can you give information again? I know you ran over it, but now that we have recognized how wonderful you are and making us look wonderful, what is the best method for these agents to step up and get some of those cards sent to them so they can give them to their clients?
I would say to email me. My email's right here. Oh, it kind of got cut off there. It's c@Cheverse and then @Broward.org. If you would shoot me a quick email, and approximately how many you want, make sure I have your address in there. I will put them in the mail right away for you.
Perfect. Because that's what we want to do as travel agents, make ourselves stand out in terms of customer care. And I was like, I love when you guys do that sort of thing. And
there's so many people that really don't even know about it. Like, just a woman that's fairly new in our office, been working here about 9 months. She's like, I've heard about this before, but never really. And then she's like, until I opened it up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how wonderful this program is. So it's great, and so many people don't really know about it. So you definitely look like a rock star.
Yes, perfect, perfect. And, the staff has always been helpful and full of education. And for the folks on the call, if you haven't been there, go check it out. It's a wonderful area, and I'm hoping that there's some representation. I know, Caitlin, you may not be able to join us at our NACTA conference in the fall, but hopefully somebody will be able to get there because you always have such a great presence.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I remember the last couple of years you got to be our rock star because you were on stage 2 years, ago.
I know, yes.
Saying, woo, woo, this is where we're having a conference next year. And then you were there last year, and I loved the program that you had. Can you talk I know that's kind of a past thing, but I think it's important for people to recognize what kind of projects you have. And you actually created one for the attendees at the NACTA conference last year that I really want to give a shout out to because I think it was important for people to go, oh, they do this for their community. So do you remember which project you had for it?
For the Seafarer House?
Mm-hmm.
That one, yes. So we did a kind of a giving back activity, and there's this great house called the Seafarers House, and it's an organization in Port Everglades that is available for all those mariners out there that come into our port in and out, whether it be on the cruise ships or the freights, the cargo ships. Mostly the cruise ships are the ones that use the Seafarers House, though. And it's a house full of resources for, those employees that are traveling the world really on these ships. And they can use it, excuse me, you can hear fire trucks maybe in the background here. But anyways, they go there and they have resources. They can use them for transportation service when they're here in transit, for religious services. They can go there and they can get toiletries, they can get assistance if they need it for an array of different things. And last year, since it was in November, we had this great activity where it was a shoebox activity, and we put together all kinds of different toiletries and kind of a goodie bag inside of these shoe boxes with like a magazine and something special for them to get over the holiday season. And we wrapped them in holiday paper. So we wrapped, I think we did a couple of hundred, and every single mariner that comes in December is given one of those boxes. And it's just something to feel special if they don't get to go home during, the holiday months, because they're out there, serving our guests, or out there on the ocean through those months. It's just something, a little special token, and it really goes a long way. So yeah, we love doing those kind of give back activities.
Well, and it was great. And obviously I was part of it, and you railed me in the minute I walked in the door.
Well, we did have some spa activities too there. So,
oh yeah, that's right.
Totally.
I got to take advantage of that too, come to think of it. So
there you go.
So just for people who aren't familiar with, Fort Lauderdale Convention Visitors Bureau, they really are hands-on. They want you as a travel agent to look good to your clients, and that's the point that we're both trying to make. She's talking about things that you can do with your families, no matter what that family is. I love the GLBT picture at the beginning, where the two dads and the son were on the surfboard, and all are welcome there. So. And it's lovely to hear. Trust me, it's lovely to hear. I know that you'd mentioned that we are going to have a gift bag that's going to be you're going to post a question, and people are going to text in the background in the question box or in the chat box.
Do you want me to write it down, or you want me to say it?
Why don't you just say it, and then whoever gets the answer correctly the first time, I will yell out that person's name, and we'll get it to them.
Perfect. So you have your hands on your keyboard here. All right. So the question is, which hotel or resort that I mentioned here offers a mini golf experience on property? Do you have your Jeopardy song?
Yeah, it's Lorene Babb singing.
This is a hard one, huh?
We're close. Louise, that's not right. Let's see. We got more answers coming in. All right. Yep. Pat Waller, you have the correct answer. Pat, will you do me a favor and please put your email also in that chat box so that way I can connect you with Caitlin.
Great. We have a winner. So
yay!
Ocean Sky.
You know, you know what? I really hate when people don't have the right answer. It's kind of embarrassing to me, not to you, because like, I don't have a second question.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, Lord, I should have had a backup question.
Excellent, excellent. Pat, I'm going to put your email in right now, and I'm going to give it to Caitlin. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time on your busy day. We're just about coming up to a long weekend, so we appreciate the fact that everybody's here. Yes. And I want to thank you, Caitlin, for all that you do to help travel agents make themselves look wonderful to their clients, because, you know, there are alternatives, and working one-to-one with the travel agent is important, and you really help emphasize to us that we do something important in this world. So I want to thank you for being part of NACTA and all the hard work and love that you put into all of this.
Wonderful. Well, it's my pleasure. It's our pleasure. And thank you all for being on this and listening here. I hope it met your expectations, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Excellent. Excellent. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You
okay, I know
too.
It's only on Thursday, but it's a
almost.
long weekend.
It feels like the weekend. It's very, very close.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye. And Pat, I'm going to email you and Caitlin right now. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.